We need to talk quickly about a revolution that has taken place among quarterbacks in fantasy football. A lot of experts have caught on to this revolution at last, but still, they don't realize how deeply it goes. I'm going to liken this to a paradigm shift that actually occurred in basketball as well. I've been playing fantasy football for over 20 years. Ask the comments what percentage of all my leagues I've won. And I remember the era when it was about Peyton Mannings, when it was about the Kurt Warners, when it was about the Carson Palmers at quarterback. That same era in the NBA was defined by the mid-range jumper by guys like Kobe Bryant, who were masters of this two-point shot. Then suddenly analytics came into play and we realized, wow, three-pointers are actually worth 50% more than two-pointers. How did we not realize this sooner? This coincided with Stephen Curry being able to shoot three-pointers better than anyone ever had, as well as James Harden inventing new moves to shoot three-pointers off the dribble. Tricks like true shooting percentage then changed the way that offenses run so that every team started featuring three-pointers, every team started shooting more three-pointers, and the myth that you couldn't win by shooting three-pointers was evaporated. Now, if you couldn't shoot three-pointers, you didn't really have a spot in the league necessarily. Every team can afford maybe one guy who can't shoot, but beyond that, it's a serious hindrance because of the lack of efficiency. In fantasy football, it's usually 25 yards passing is 1 point, 10 yards rushing is 1 point, 6 points per rushing touchdown, 4 points per passing touchdown. That's right, a rushing touchdown by a quarterback is worth 50% more than a passing touchdown, just like a three-pointer versus a two-pointer. And the Steph Curry equivalent in fantasy football was Michael Vick. Rushing quarterbacks just have significantly more upside than passing first pocket passers of the old days. We've partially accounted for this. The top 4 quarterbacks now are all major rushing threats. It's no coincidence they happen to be the best rushing quarterbacks in the NFL. But I take that a step further with my rankings. My rankings have always differed strongly from what experts tend to have. They're available here at fansports.com. Update them every day, working through bug fixes and new features every single day. And look, there might be some guys who do great by drafting a Joe Burrow or a Jared Goff, but it's never going to be me. We still haven't properly fully accounted for the upside that rushing quarterbacks possess. This is why you should pick up Justin Fields if someone in your league dropped him. It's why jaxsondart is especially interesting because he has that dual threat upside. It's why Caleb Williams and Drake May are the 2 guys most likely to crack the top 5 at the position. It's why I'm still holding out hope that Bryce Young becomes a top 10 quarterback in fantasy, even though his rushing's been down the last 2 weeks. It saved me from drafting guys like Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, and several other just unexciting lower upside quarterbacks this year. So here's your PSA. Only target quarterbacks with rushing upside. You want to make sure that they're the guy that can get the ball at the 1-yard line for a QB sneak. They're a guy who could rush in from 5 yards, could break off a 20-yard run. There are levels to this. Drafting one-dimensional pocket passes, this is the equivalent now of drafting a Jaleel Okafor, a guy who might have been great in a previous era, but today's game, with higher efficiency, there's just no room for them. I'm making daily videos to help you win your fantasy football league. Check them out. I'll make one about pickups drops later today, updating fansports.com every single day. Check it out. Love you guys. Thanks for spending a couple minutes of your day with me. Stay learning. Peace.